This is my push-pull leg split for 2024. Let's go. Now, I love going to the gym. I go 6 days a week. If I could, I'd go 7, but obviously the rest days are very important. But regardless, this is what you can do in those 6 days if you like going to the gym as well to really maximize your gains. Now, I notice this program particularly works for me. It might not work for you, or it might work better for you. I don't know. But considering I am a 6'2" guy with a relatively long wingspan and a pretty short torso, this program has worked pretty well for me, and it's been adapted over the span of my 2-year gym journey. My push-pull legs regimen is pretty atypical from the regular PPL setup. I do a push-pull arms, push-pull legs setup during the 6-day span. This is because I hate training legs. No, but seriously, I hate training legs. And arms don't really get a lot of love in the traditional push-pull leg split. So I dedicated a whole day to them. So first off, we have push day. What you want to do first is you want to warm up. I do a little light bench to warm up just to get the chest fibers going. But apart from that, do whatever you have to do to warm up. And then we begin with a flat dumbbell press. Now, some people like incline more. Some people like bench press more. Me personally, I'm just so used to this movement that it just feels like the most comfortable for me. The supporting muscles get a lot of work. And of course, your chest gets a lot of work as well. I love this movement. So if you want to build a chest like mine, I'd recommend you do it because your upper chest is going to get a lot of love later as well. So don't even worry about that. 2 sets of this, and make sure you're training with strength in mind. Just focus on really getting those hard reps out and really focus on lifting some heavy ass weight. Next up, OHP, also 2 sets. Once again, the same principle applies to the dumbbell press. You really want to be training with strength in mind. Just go for some strength. Now, I'm sure my joints probably hate me for doing this, but my joints don't really have a voice. Make sure you're tucking your elbows in a little bit as well. Not too close forward, but not too far out as well. 45-degree angle. Make sure you're really like focusing on developing your strength, and hit some partials as well, because I noticed with this movement, your failure is not really indicative of your actual muscles failure. So hit some partials. That's really going to target the anterior deltoid. Next up, we have incline press with the machine. I like the hammer strength incline press machine. It's very controlled, and I'm trying to hit my upper chest. Upper chest is, of course, very important to developing a very rounded, very noticeable chest. And with this movement, feel free to go for hypertrophy, of course, like 12 reps. That's what I typically go for. Now, you got to make sure with all your lifts that you're training to failure, because if you're not, then you're missing out on free gains. I'm not Mike Menser, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, if you're not training with intensity, you're a bitch. The next movement is decline chest flies. Now, I hit these because I just want to go for a nice chest pump at the end of all these compound movements. There's not much to explain about it. I mean, you can alternate it with incline chest flies. Now, I'm not a big fan of the movement because it feels a little awkward, and it also feels like my biceps are getting worked as well. So I prefer the decline, but to each their own, of course. Next up, lateral raises. This is standard push day material. You know, your lateral raises are really important for getting your delts large and giving them that capped look. I do 3 sets of these, and I do hypertrophy rep ranges. Now, obviously, I go to failure as well. Make sure you're keeping your elbows in the scapular plane, a little bit ahead of you. Make sure your hand is lower than your elbow, because if you have it above, that's going to be trap work, and it's going to feel really awkward on your shoulder. But having it below feels just comfortable. Make sure you're pushing out as well a little bit when you do your lateral raise, because if you're not, you might just be hitting your traps as well. And listen, traps are a great muscle, but the point of a lateral raise is to hit the lateral head. So yeah, make sure you're just really pushing out a little bit. Next up, triceps push down. Now for my push day, I don't actually do a 2-hand triceps push down. I do that for my arm day. But for my push day, I do 1 arm on each, and I do it the Sam Sulek style. It sounds like I'm glazing Sam Sulek, but he typically has like the handle, and he pushes down like that, or not like that, but obviously like this, and that feels pretty good to me. It feels a little bit more natural. Now, so you can do it like this as well, but that's just not how I do it personally. But if you want to do it, go ahead. And I do 3 sets on each arm. Next up, pull day. My pull day is an intensity monster. You're gonna have a lot of difficulty getting through it, but it is also enjoyable. It's not really like leg day. That's just natural. I mean, anything's better than leg day. With my pull day, what I do is I start off with some pull-ups. Now, if you can't do normal pull-ups, just do them assisted. If you can't do assisted, do a variation of lat pull-downs, I guess. So I hit regular pull-ups, pretty wide grip as well, because I'm trying to hit the mid-back, the rhomboids, and of course the lats. 2 sets of that, just as many reps as you possibly can. If you can do a lot of reps, put some weight on it. Me personally, I can't do a lot of reps, but I'm going to failure on each. Next movement, rows. I do chest supported low rows. Like the grip isn't too close. I don't know if your gym may not have it, but it's like kind of like this, like I'm driving a car, and it feels really good on my lats, and it really feels like it develops my thickness. I do that for 2 sets. I go to failure. Sometimes I do 12 reps, but those 12 reps are going to be difficult, of course. Next up after that, I hit lat pull downs. Now with my lat pull downs, I like to use the little, it looks like a bow tie sort of, because my arms are pretty far apart. I have a very long wingspan. So hitting it close, don't get me wrong, it still feels great. Like close grip, it feels awesome. But when people do these like the long bar, like I'm not really a big fan of that. Like it just kind of feels a little weird. And so having my grip like this, around this area, this range, it feels perfect. And I hit that for 2 sets as well. And I go for 12 reps and of course failure. Then after that, I do some high rows with the cables. I love these because it feels like it really, works my mid back and my upper back muscles a lot. And I feel like that part of your back is very neglected by the gym community because, I mean, everyone wants to hit the lats. Everyone wants to hit a nice lat spread, get those fat lats going. But your upper back also needs some love because it also gives you that really hulking, demon back look. You know what I'm saying? That's not really contributed by the lats. And we already hit the lats a lot throughout this lift. So yeah, this is a high row. Really want to focus on squeezing the upper back, and you do that for 2 sets, 12 reps, and you're good. Obviously, with all of these lifts, you should be reaching near or failure. Now, I'm telling you right now, if you're not reaching failure for your second set, then you're doing something wrong. You're not training with intensity. You don't even want to be at the gym. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Okay, I guess your muscles don't like growing that much. Anyways, I digress. 3 sets of traps, of shrugs. I go super heavy on these and my forearm muscles get demolished in the process, but I love it because the traps are a very important muscle for giving you that nice, scary physique. 3 sets of that, 12 reps for the first set, and we try to go to failure, of course, but with the traps and with the whole forearm thing, I don't blame you for not going to failure. I know I just called you a bitch for not going to failure, but still, regardless, I digress. After that, we do reverse flies, 3 sets, 12 reps. I like to use the machine, the chest fly machine. That just feels the most comfortable for me. Cables are of course good, but they just feel a little bit more awkward compared. It's a little less strict. And with the dumbbells, it just feels weird as hell. So I would recommend you use dumbbells for that. And then much like my push day, we go for biceps. And you really want to hit a single arm turning curl like this. You can get some forearm work, and you can get some bicep work, of course. And that just feels really good, especially for developing your bicep peak. And the thickness of your bicep is also being developed as well in the process. 3 sets on each arm, or you can do them both at once. I prefer to do them both at once, but sometimes I do it on one arm as well. Arm day. Now, for arm day, you want to hit 6 sets of triceps hitting movements, and you want to hit 6 sets of biceps hitting movements. Now, I'm not going to be strict about what you have to do during this. I mean, it's whatever you want to do, but if you have knowledge of how, there are multiple heads of your biceps, multiple heads of your triceps, then you can design your program to your own needs around which part you really want to hit during your arm day. And I'm not going to get too specific with what I do personally because it varies. I'll tell you that much. It varies sometimes. But I do know there are 2 movements that are integral to my arm day, and that's I really like doing the tricep push down with the metal bar like this on the machine, and I really like doing hammer curls as well. Apart from that, 3 sets of biceps. Apart from that, 3 sets of triceps. Apart from that as well, and you're good. If you want to hit forearms as well, sometimes I hit forearms. I mean, I don't think it's needed, But if you want to hit your forearms, go ahead. Now with leg day, what I start off with is I start off with hack squat. Now I do hack squat rather than barbell squat because you guys can diss me all you want in the comments, but I've had bad experiences with barbell squat, and I just feel like it's not unsafe if you know what you're doing, but it's one of those movements where it puts so much compression and pressure on your spine and your joints that it's like, am I really getting my bang for my buck when I do this movement? And the same applies to deadlifts as well. So I do hack squats because it feels a lot more safe. If you want to flame me for that, go ahead. I don't really care. I do 3 sets of hack squats. I do a warm-up set first just to get the blood flowing to my legs. And I aim for hypertrophy, but the thing with all leg movements, apart from the machines, is that you can really not safely go to failure on a lot of these movements, except for maybe deadlifts, because failure is directly associated with injury. I've never seen someone, actually reach failure without completing the rep on a squat. Like actually think about that. You've never seen someone go do a partial rep of a squat. You haven't. You ever see Ronnie Coleman hit a partial for a squat? No. How do you even do that? Like, is there another point where you can dismount? No. You have to complete the rep, and that's not going to failure. Regardless, I hit hack squat because it feels like it's very safe, and I mean I can go like decently close to failure as well. I try to go heavy with it as well, but I mean you can aim for 12 reps on it as well. Like I care much more about how big my legs are than how strong they are. I don't really care about having strong legs. Once again, you can call me, you can diss me all you want in the comments. I just don't care. Next up, we have laying leg curls. Now this is hamstring and glute work. I love this movement. It feels really nice. Obviously, you can safely fail on it, and just go as intense as you want, man. Like 3 sets of that. After that, we have seated leg extensions. This is the pretty standard movement. I think everyone's done these at some point, even if you hate leg day. 3 sets of that, and go for hypertrophy if you want. Go for strength if you want. I like when it comes to my machines, because I know I can safely fail, I just always go to like extreme intensity. Now I'm not doing like 20 rep sets, of course, but I like, doing 8 reps and then finishing with like 4 partials, or 8 reps and then finishing with a lower weight. That just feels good to me. After that, we have another hamstring movement. Now, for this one, I kind of alternate sometimes. I prefer to do one movement over the other, but try to do like the seated hamstring curl if you want for 3 sets. But me personally, if you have this in your gym, let me demonstrate real quick. There's a movement, right? There's a machine that kind of like allows you to do this, right? And that really feels like good glute and hamstring work. So I recommend you do that as well, of course, if you can, if it's in your gym. And hit 3 sets per leg on that one, because it just feels nice, and you got to train your glutes. After that, we do calf raises. Now I do them standing because I heard that sitting actually primarily targets the soleus, which is, I mean, I don't know if that's actually true, but I want to target the gastrocnemius. Do them with intensity. I do 12 reps typically, but I mean, do whatever you want. 3 sets of that as well. Then we do abs. I do train my abs on leg days. Sometimes I'll train on other days as well. I don't care which jacked 4-time Mr. Olympia steroid trenbolone acetate abuser tells you, oh, don't train your abs, they're made in the kitchen. I don't care who tells you that. Okay, most people have an extremely weak core, and if you want to look like a fat ass when you're bulking, go ahead. Don't train your abs. But me personally, I'm on a bulk right now and I can still see my abs at an extremely high body fat. Not extremely high body fat, but at a higher end of the body fat percentage, and I prefer to have it this way. So yeah, please train your abs. What I like to do is I like to do 2 sets of the crunch machine, seated. And then I like to do 2 sets of the hanging leg raises to really target my lower abs. And then I'll do 2 sets of oblique work, and we are good for leg day. That was my whole push-pull legs regimen. If you guys like it, please leave a like, please subscribe, drop a comment what you think. I understand it's not perfect, it's probably not the most optimal. It's just what I do, and if you want to look like me, go ahead and do what I do. Yeah. Adios.